Hey everybody. So I'm getting ready to do a Batgirl sketch card. Here's some of the pre-sketches that I've done for my idea for the card. So what I like to do before I start these cards is do some sketches and work out some ideas of what I'm going to put on the card. And I kind of settled on this one pretty early, so I didn't do a bunch of different variations. I just kind of figured it out. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for popping in. Um, yeah, so this one, compared to the last one, the Doctor Strange one, I'm going to try and do a little different. I'm going to put a little bit more of the character in the card if I can figure out the proportions. I'm doing pretty good. What about everybody else? Yeah, Harrow, this is actually the most fun part is doing all the pre-sketches and figuring it out. Like this hand, I was trying to figure out how to do the hand holding the batarang right here. This was the first pass and it made no sense, just like holding it between the fingers like a card. And then this one, I kind of changed it to where I was just, putting the fingertips and the thumb holding it. So I kind of worked that out a few times, but that's kind of, if y'all are trying to get a little insight into my process, that's like what I would think about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start this with the head, and I might actually draw this a few times because like I said, I'm trying to get more of the figure into this, and I want to make sure I get this hand in there. You just winged it on your first cards. Well, to be honest, I did that too. And it wasn't until a few times where I kind of learned that this helped me and it helped me get more consistent to do this, to do it this way. All right, so since I'm trying to get the hand in there, I'm going to kind of start the head over to the left side of the card. And this is loosely the version of Batgirl I'm drawing is loosely going to be based off of Batman the Animated Series. You're going to be here for 30 minutes. You have to do some things. Oh, that's cool. No worries. I'm going to post the finished thing when I'm all done. I'll post the whole thing to YouTube, so you'll be able to catch the rest of it later. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. And it always stinks like when you do like these sketches that you really like and you kind of get like almost a full sketch, and I just personally don't like drawing that small on sketch cards, so I don't. Some people can and they're really good, but I like to kind of keep them a little bigger because I feel like using the bigger shapes and can give my card more details as opposed to if it's really small. And like the smaller you draw, the less lines you really want to put in there because of the detail just doesn't really come out real well when you draw really small. So it kind of makes it hard. And even this, like it's going to be hard to even put this whole hand in here because of the way that I've done it. But I think it'll work out okay. Draw Plastic Man. I'm going to put Plastic Man on the list. Like people keep asking me different characters, and I don't want y'all to think I'm not listening because I do. And I really do have a list of characters that I'm keeping to draw for these different things. The thing is, if I'm doing one how to draw a YouTube video a week, it's going to take me a while to get through all of these suggestions. So some of these might end up just being TikTok videos that won't be like the YouTube ones like I'm doing. That's kind of like walking through drawing the character. I might just do quicker videos for TikTok, and so some of the characters might come out that way so I can do more videos. But I'm definitely listening to these suggestions. So if it's a good suggestion, I'm definitely going to write it down and keep track of it. So keep sending them to me, even if I don't draw them for a while. It just kind of takes time because I can only do so many in a week. Man, I was really hoping to get her belt in here too, but it's going to end up just kind of being a chest up kind of look. Can I draw Super J? Of course I can draw Super J. Do you think of composition when you draw on the card? I do. I do, but depending on the timeline, like how much time I have to work on a set or something, I might pay more or less attention to it. Um, I like to kind of spin the card around sometimes and keep the angles different. Like kind of use the card as like a almost like a camera or a frame, like I'm framing a shot. So like instead of just drawing like a straight up and down like this on a card, I like to kind of maybe turn it a little bit and have them tilted and everything because I feel like that's everybody doesn't do that. So when I do that, I think it helps my stuff stand out a little bit, if that makes sense. I think this one might actually go a lot faster than the Doctor Strange one too, because actually I don't know why, but it just feels like it's going faster. All right. And also, I did that hair video last weekend, and this is gonna kind of give me another chance to do a different kind of hairstyle, even though you're not really gonna be able to see it. But I'll demonstrate like right here. I just did like some big poofs for her hair because it's kind of not necessarily curly, but it's a little wavy. Draw one of my favorite members of the Fantastic Four. Hmm. I like drawing the Thing. He's fun, but he takes a little bit more detail than the others because of all the rocks and everything, but he's fun to draw. I also would like to draw the Silver Surfer. It's been a long time since I've drawn Silver Surfer. You're watching the Michael B. Jordan Fantastic Four right now. It's funny. I never watched that. I gotta tell you, ever since I've started making more of these videos and more drawing and stuff, I haven't watched as much. It's kind of bad, I guess, because I'm not getting to consume as much cool content. But I have kind of used Disney Plus to rewatch a lot of like the old '90s cartoons, so that's been fun. I went through X-Men, and I'm on in the middle of going through Spider-Man. So that's been kind of fun to catch up on that stuff and rewatch it. I want to go through X-Men Evolution and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That was a good one too. All right, so now let's go ahead and put this Batarang in here, which was kind of like one of the important things that I wanted to fit in here. That's another thing I do when I'm doing these cards. Um, when I do my pre-sketches like this, I try and pick a few elements that I kind of want to try and make sure I fit in the finished card. And so the Batarang was one of the things. So I had to kind of squeeze it in there, even though you can barely see her hand and her fingers there, but it got in there. Draw the Ghostbusters. That'd be cool. No, Cheeks Spectacular Spider-Man is not on Disney. I'm kind of sad about that because I really would like to rewatch that. Um, I don't know why that is. I know it's a Sony thing, but I don't know exactly why because all the other Spider-Man stuff is on there. But I guess um, all the other Spider-Man stuff didn't have anything to do with Sony because it was all before or after. It was either before the Sony movies or it was after Disney purchased Marvel. And I think at that point, when they purchased Marvel, they got the TV rights to Spider Man, I think, for like the animated stuff, but not the movie rights. So I think that's why that show is not on there. But I could be way off base. I'm just guessing. Makes sense to me. Another show when all that was going on that was really good, I thought anyway, was that Wolverine and the X-Men show. That was getting ready to go some cool places. It was kind of an interesting take because it didn't necessarily follow any of like the previous cartoons, the way that it was starting out. And they were getting ready to tackle Age of Apocalypse in season 2 before the whole um, Disney buying Marvel thing went down and it got canceled. But that was a cool show. All right, so I'm gonna have like a little thing of hair coming down this side and this side. Just doing just some crazy curves. All right, do the eye holes. You finally made it. Glad you're here, Ram 76. Glad you're here. Yeah, and if anybody can't stay for the whole time, no problem. You can just catch the replay whenever it gets posted. If you guys have any questions during it, don't be afraid to ask. I'll answer anything I can. I'm super fast. Well, Harold, with as much practice as we've gotten, I've kind of figured out how to be efficient with it, I guess is the way to put it. Um, it really took me a long time to get quick at these, but what happened was I worked on some really big sets. Like the first really big one I did was DC Bombshell Series 2, and it was like 105 cards. And so that was like out of necessity. I had to work really fast on that one. What's up? What's up, Andrew? What's going on, guys? How long does it take to color a character on regular paper or on a card? On a card, it doesn't take that long. I would guess, depending on how many different colors I have to use, it may take 10 minutes to color it, I guess. If I'm just doing it like not in this kind of setting, it might take 10 minutes. But like the whole process from the the pre-sketches to the card to the inking and everything, that usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour. But I usually batch these things. So what ends up happening is I will pencil a bunch of cards at one time, then I'll ink a bunch of cards at one time, and then color a bunch of cards at one time. So I find that I get to be more efficient that way, and it helps me create a situation where if I run out of ink and a marker that I really need, I'm not doing all the coloring at once, so I can kind of like move back and forth between the different processes, the different parts. So it kind of helps me make sure I don't have like a slowdown in case something's holding me up. I can move back to another part of the process. That was something that I learned just from doing over time and asking other people what they did. So that kind of helped. Just working on pages. Thanks, Harold. That means a lot coming from you. Guardians of the Galaxy. Levi, what's up, buddy? How's it going? All right, so now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go ahead and color, and then I'm gonna black out the black spots for her costume because I'm doing the new Batman Adventures costume, which her main like the suit is actually like all black, but the cape has some bluish purplish accents. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And this actually is not gonna be dark enough, so I'm gonna come back and do a different color too on top of this. But I'm just adding a little accent to it. I didn't even put her cape down here. We'll do the inside of the cape yellow, as well as these little sections I think are yellow too, maybe? Or nope, they're not. I made that up. They're purple-ish blue. This is actually a blue. This is light hydrangea. I really like it though because it's a good medium between a blue and a purple. So I like to use that color a good bit. but I'm actually going to go darker with it. Give it a little bit more color. Just going to go back over the spots I've already done. All right. Start doing a base of yellow for the bat on her chest, as well as the inside of the cape. Really, the only yellow she's got on the costume from this part of the series was just the emblem, her belt, and the inside of the cape. Which, if I would have drawn the whole thing, actually, I might have not done it that high, but I would have had her cape coming out to the side. That's why another reason why it's good to draw out the whole thing when you're just sketching it out, because even if it won't all fit on the card, you can more show the action and the flow of the figure if you have the full thing in your head and not just trying to strictly fit it onto the card. It makes it easier that way. The Adam West Batman and Robin, that would be cool. Oh, thanks, Harold. Yeah, it's interesting because like the Bruce Timm DC animated universe, like it's very much his style, but like, and that's like the versions. That's a lot of the versions of the characters that I love from DC. But still, I kind of find a way to kind of keep it not too much looking like the Bruce Timm style, but also you can kind of still recognize that that's where the influence is from. Whew, man, it's a little hot in here right now. Yeah, this one feels like it's moving a little quicker than Doctor Strange card. So I'm using this cool gray right now, this cool gray one, to do a little bit of the shadows for the face, which I guess I'm going to go back over it with the cotton pearl, but it just adds like a little bit of like a shadow base. So like when you put the cotton pearl back on top of it again, you still get the cotton pearl look, but it has a little bit of a shadow to it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the lips real quick. I don't know why I do this, but I started doing this where when I'm drawing females, when I do the lips, I like to do where I draw them, and most of the lips are kind of filled in black ink with a little splash of color. And I started doing that, and I really don't know why, but I've kept doing it. And I also forgot to say that the gloves are gonna be yellow too. Left that part out. Levi wants to know what your favorite character to draw is. Okay, my current favorite character to draw is Captain America. I really like drawing Captain America, and I really like drawing Cyclops. Cyclops and Captain America are both very fun for me to draw. Adding a little blue to the middle batarang. All right, so now I'm going to go in with the dark grays before I do her hair. And what I like to use these Zig Cure Color blue grays for most of my grays, just because they've got have a very nice look to them, I think. That like little hint of blue really makes the grays pop off the page. I don't even remember who I heard about these markers from. It may have been you, Harold. I don't know. But I started seeing them places, so I started asking about them. And I found a place that sold them pretty cheap, so I started trying them out, and I really like them. They're a really good alternative. You can't get all the colors you need, but they're a really good alternative to Copic markers if you're on a budget, because you can find them pretty cheap. Like I buy them from this website called markersupply.com, and you can get them much cheaper than Copic markers. And they're also refillable, and you can get replaceable nibs for them. That's your favorite. Cool. Cyclops. Yep. Cyclops obsession is real. He's so fun to draw. Like I don't think he's my favorite X-Man, but he's probably my favorite X-Man to draw. I also like drawing Storm and Jean Grey. I'm actually going to do Wolverine pretty soon for the Monday character sketch. Might be this week, might be next week. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do Wolverine soon. Then I'm going to probably go back to DC after that. Maybe Star Wars. I have a few sketches that I've done in the past month that I kind of want to try my hand inking and coloring digitally just to get the practice in. So I might record some of that stuff for TikTok, because the time lapse might be interesting, but me trying to figure it out probably wouldn't be too interesting. Drew, is that you? Yeah, boy. All right. So when I do Batgirl's hair, I do like a little red base first, and then do orange on top of it. So you kind of get like a good mix. So it doesn't look too orange, because I think sometimes they can look too orange. So that's why I like to mix these colors together. And I'm actually not sure what color her eyes are, but I'm going to do them green. But if anybody knows, they can let me know. Green eyes. Green eyes real quick. All right, I'm going to get that orange to throw on top of the red. You can't even really tell. It's a little bit more orange now. This marker may need a little bit more juice though. I need a little refill action on it. The base of the gray, so I'm going to do one more of a darker shade of the gray, the blue-gray 4. And then I'm going to adjust the line weight. I might do some darker yellow for the cape too, since it's kind of behind the figure. Okay. So this is tricky. Like when you look up reference images of Batgirl in this costume, since it's black, it's almost like the whole costume is black, so you don't really see any shadows or anything. It's just all black. Love the sound of markers on paper. It is. It's a familiar sound, isn't it? Remind you of your happy place. I think my marker stroke is not that good, and sometimes I try and work on it. It's harder to do with like these fine points, but you know, with the brush tips, you can kind of work on, like, what I mean is try not to like scribble. Just kind of keep like a consistent stroke one direction. Okay. Yeah, this This one's humming along. So now I've kind of done all like the layers and everything that I want to do. I mean, I guess I could do a little bit more. Maybe get a different shade of the skin tone. Oh, thank you, Harold. I'm so glad that you stopped by and everybody that stopped by. I really appreciate it. It's a lot more fun when you have a conversation going. All right, so now normally I would kind of throw the background in there, but I don't really know what I want to do for the background. I might just kind of do a solid color or like a little blend of a color, and then just add a little bit of line weight. This is one of my favorite Prismacolor markers, and it's been running low the last couple times I've used it. I'm trying to get every inch of juice out of it I can, but it's served me well. Sometimes simple can be good for these backgrounds, especially for the cards. For the Doctor Strange one, we didn't leave much room to actually do a background. Yeah, this is actually blue slate, so I need to look it up and get a new one pretty soon. Sometimes I'll try and just like blend another color in with it to kind of have that gradient effect a little bit. And I'll get it and go over it again. Just kind of squeeze every inch of juice out of it. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna get a little bit more out of it. Go onto the top and just saturate the crap out of the top here. When I worked on the last Bombshell set, the card stock was not very good, and like almost everything just kind of came off of it. So I spent a lot of time having to use the Prismacolors and do things like that because that was like all that they would take. All right, so now I'm going to do the line weights for this. This one's kind of out of juice. Need to get a new some new Faber-Castell pit pens because that pen is running low. So I got to use this one that's a little bit thicker. This is the F width of the Artist Pit pens. These are my go-to fine liners at the moment. If anybody's wondering what pens I'm using. And I talked about this in the Nightwing inking video that I posted this morning, but whatever kind of stroke you feel comfortable with inking, if you can, if like the canvas is small enough, turn it with you so you can get those comfortable strokes, because you're going to have more confident lines and they're not going to be jagged and things like that if you go with strokes that you feel comfortable with and you're confident in. It really makes a huge difference too. You can tell when you're looking at it, oh yeah, that felt like a really good line. And it also helps to try and kind of visualize the lines before you put them down too. That's also another good thing to try and do. You like to think your lines are as confident as Gary Vee. Well, you know, that is a good standard to try and reach, because I don't know anybody more confident than Gary Vee. I messed up a little bit right here, but that's okay. No worries. All right, so I'm gonna come down to this arm. I forgot to do that darker shade of yellow in the cape. Yes, we do need to do a live together for sure. We need to figure out the logistics of that, like how to set it up and everything. I really can't wait until I'm able to do these YouTube live streams from my phone because the webcam that I'm using, the quality is not as good as my phone. All right, let's do this here. Do this one right here. Yeah, we need to figure out a theme for the live to do, like what kind of theme we could do. Whether it's just like a Q&A or whatever it is, or it's just we pick a something to draw together in two different styles. That might be kind of cool. Um, I think I asked Andrew this one time. We were trying to figure out how many people you could get on one live on YouTube. I think it's like 6 maybe. But I don't really remember what he said. It was a while ago when we talked about it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more layering with this dark blue-gray to add a little bit more depth to our heroine here. I know there's been several Batgirls in the comics, but I'm pretty sure she's still my favorite one. All right, let's do one more in the face right here. Then I'm gonna do a little white gel pen for the on her eyes, and then we'll be done. Don't want to tinker too much, or you'll never be done, and then you'll do too much, and you'll regret it. So at some point, you gotta call it quits. Finish not perfect. Heroin. Yeah, I think that's what you told me. It was 6, Andrew. So I don't know. Maybe we can try that one time. That would actually be kind of cool. Have a couple different people. We all kind of draw the same thing and just do it in a different style. That would be kind of neat. All right. So that is all for this one. All right, so we finished this Batgirl sketch card, and it's been about 35 minutes. That was a lot quicker than the Doctor Strange one, and I don't know why the Doctor Strange one took so much longer. Maybe it was just the disc took so much longer, and talking about sketch cards in general, but we did it. Jake Barker theme, finished not perfect. That's right. That's right. A lot of wisdom from that guy. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me while I was drawing this sketch card. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and share it. Share the video with your friends. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody.